is equal to 5. So the first thing we need to do, okay, so we'll copy it down, x plus 7 is equal to 5. So the first thing we'll do is we need to get rid of this plus 7. What's the opposite of plus 7? Is negative 7. So we'll take away 7 from both sides. So what's 5 take away 7? Is minus 2. And on this side the plus 7 and minus 7 cancels out, so x is equal to negative 2. So just to check if it works, negative 2 add 7 is equal to 5? Yes it is. So that's how we know it's correct. So in this question 4a, x is equal to negative 2. Question b, 9 is equal to 4x plus 3. So first of all, copy the question down. 9 is equal to 4x plus 3. So the first thing we need to do is we need to get off the plus 3. To get rid of this plus 3. So to do that, we're going to take away 3 here. We're going to take away 3 here. So that would mean on the left hand side, 9 take away 3 is equal to 6. And on this side, the plus 3 and the negative 3 is cancelled out. Or take away 3, so we're just left with 4x. Now, how do we get rid of the times 4? Remember, 4x means 4 times x. So to get rid of the times 4, we're going to divide both sides by 4. So it's going to be 6 over 4 is equal to x. So we'll continue on this side now. X is equal to 6 over 4. That can be simplified to x is equal to 3 over 2. You could leave it as a fraction, and I probably would leave it as a mixed number. So how many times does 2 go into 3? It goes once. Copy the 2 down. And then what's the remainder? Remainder is 1. So it's 1.5. So x is equal to 1.5 or equal to 1.5. So does that really work? So let's check it. I'll substitute the value of x. 4 times 1.5 is 6. 6 add 3 is 9. So it does work. So it's always a good idea to substitute this value back into the original equation just to confirm that you've got the right answer. Question 5. It says solve 5x is equal to 3x plus 4. So now we have x on the left and x on the right. So I'm going to use this model here to explain that. So the x obviously represents unknown quantity. So in each box we've got an x number or unknown quantity of sweets. So on the left hand side, 5x or 5 lots of unknowns is equal to 3x on the right or 3 lots of unknown plus 4 that we know of, the 4 sweets. So in this case, what's the best thing we can do? Do you get rid of the plus 4 first? Well, if we take away 4 on the right hand side, how are we going to take away 4 from the left hand side? We don't know how many we've got. In fact, the best thing to do is to say, look, I can see that I can get rid of 3 boxes on the left and 3 boxes on the right. So let's get rid of the 3 boxes on the right. 1, 2, 3. It's not balanced anymore. To balance it, I have to get rid of 3 from here. So 1, 2, 3. Now we know that 2x or 2 lots of x is equal to 4. So by taking away 3x from either side, so take away 3x, take away 3x, so 2x is equal to 4. Now all we have to do is just half what we have on both sides. So we can get rid of 1 lot of x from the left, so that's half in it. So we have to take half the sweets away as well. So by half it, we now know that x is equal to 2. So we divide 2 on the left hand side, we divide 2 on the right hand side. So x is equal to 2. Let's confirm if this works. So we had 5x is equal to 3x plus 4. So what's 5 times 2? Because we think x is 2. So 5 times 2 is 10. 3 times 2 is 6. Add 4. Is 6 add 4 equal to 10? Yes, it is. So we were correct. X is equal to 2. And this would be your working out. And notice how I've got all equals in a straight line. Question 5b. Okay, solve 5x is equal to 3x plus 7. So slightly different. So like before, we can't touch the plus 7 first because we don't know what we're subtracting here. So we've got unknown quantities. So we look at which side has more x's. So as we can see, on the left hand side we've got 5x, and on the right hand side we've got 3x. So obviously on the left hand side we have more x's. So what we can do is we can subtract 3x from both sides. So take away 3x from here, take away 3x from here. So what would that leave me? The 3x and the 3x minus 3x is just 0. That leaves me with just the plus 7, which I can just write like that, positive 7. And the 5x take away the 3x, sorry, is equal to 2x. How do I find the x now? By itself, I have to get rid of the times 2 here. So how do you get rid of times 2? Remember, 2x means 2 times x. So we need to get rid of this times 2. Remember, this is the same as saying x times 2. So these two things, they're the same thing. So what we want to do is we want to get rid of the times 2. So we have to divide by 2 here. We have to divide by 2 here. So x is equal to 7 over 2, which we can write as a mixed number as, first of all, we can ask ourselves how many 2 is going to 7? 3. And what's the remainder? 1. So the answer is 3.5. So you can write it as x is equal to 3.5 or x is 3.5. And don't forget, always check your answer. So if we substitute our answers, or our answer of x equal to 3.5, we should always check if it is correct. When I did a bit of side working out, I saw that 5 times 3.5 is 17.5, and 3 times 3.5 is 10.5, and then if we add 7, 10.5 add 7 is equal to 17.5, so we are right, x is equal to 3.5. Question 6. Solve 12 is equal to x plus 5. So the first thing we want to do is we want to isolate the x, so we take away 5 from both sides. So on this side the plus 5 and then minus 5 cancels out, leaving just the x by itself, and 12 to 5 is 7. You can just write it as x is equal to 7 if you want. And just to check by substitution if we get it right, 12 is equal to, we thought x is equal to 7, so 7 add 5. So notice, instead of x I have 7, and indeed 7 add 5 is equal to 12, so yes, x is equal to 7. So very similarly now, question 2, part 2 of question 6, 4x plus 17 is equal to 5. So we want to isolate the 4x. So the first thing we need to do is get rid of the plus 17. So how do you get rid of plus 17? You have to subtract 17 here, and you have to subtract 17 on here as well. So 5 take away 17. So be very careful when you're doing these kind of questions, because you could make a mistake, and always substitute your answers in at the end to make sure you haven't got it right, you haven't got it wrong. So 5 take away 17 is equal to negative 12, and on this side we just have left 4x. So now we want to divide both sides by 4 to get rid of the times 4. So divide by 4, divide by 4. So on this side the times 4 and the divide 4 cancels out, leaving us with x is equal to, and what's minus 12 divided by 4? It's minus 3. And as I said, just check your answer. So 4 times, instead of x, it's going to be 4 times negative 3 plus 17 should equal to 5. So what's 4 times minus 3? It's minus 12 plus 17 is equal to 5. But as you can see, minus 12 add 17 is equal to 5. So therefore x is indeed equal to minus 3. Always check your answers. So question 7a, solve x over 10 is equal to 8. So now as you can see on the left hand side, we've got x divided by 10 is equal to 8. So how do I get rid of divide by 10? We have to times by 10. And obviously if I multiply the left hand side by 10, I have to multiply the right hand side by 10 as well. So that means 8 times 10 is 80, and here the divide 10 and the times 10 cancels out, leaving just x. So x is equal to 80. So let's just check if we're right. 80 divided by 10 is equal to 8. So what I've done here is I've divided, to go over one more time, we've got x divided by 10 is equal to 8. So we need to get rid of the divide 10 first. So how do you get rid of divide 10? We should times both sides by 10. So 8 times 10 is 80, and here the divide 10 and the times 10 is cancelled out, leaving me just x. So we think x is equal to 80. Let's check our answer. 80 divide, because we think x is 80, so divided by 10, is that equal to 8? Yes, it is. So x is equal to 8. Question B, 11 is equal to 3x minus 1. So we need to first get rid of the minus 1 here. So we have to add 1 on this side, we have to add 1 on this side. 11 add 1 is 12, so 12 is equal to 3x. Now we need to get rid of this times 3. So we have to divide by 3 on this side, and we have to divide by 3 on this side. So 12 divided by 3 is equal to 4, and the times 3 and the divisor cancel out, leaving with x. So we think x is equal to 4. What should have written it here? Would have been better. Okay, so let's just check if our answer is right. 11 is equal to 3 times, instead of x, we think x is equal to 4, take away 1. So 11 is equal to, what's 3 times 4 is 12, take away 1 is 11, so yes, x is equal to 4.